Hey guys,
Hey everybody.
today is day 9 of the Halloween movie challenge, and we went with 28 Days Later.
Awesome movie.
This movie is fantastic. It was great back in '02 or '03, whenever it came out, and it was just as good today. I had seen this movie in theaters, and I remember just being in awe the whole time because before this movie had come out, the only like zombie movies that were around all had walking zombies.
Yep.
This was, as far as I can remember, the first one that had running zombies. And that like kind of changed the entire zombie genre on its head because now the walking zombies were not nearly as scary. These
Yeah.
things were terrifying in this movie.
Well,
And
it's funny when I think you're the one that
showed you this, right?
showed
Yeah,
me
I'm pretty
this,
sure.
and like you said, we're used to the walking zombies. When I first watched this, it was pretty terrifying. I'm like, oh my goodness, they run or sprint. But still, regardless, it's an amazing movie. It was an amazing movie back then. It's still such a good movie today.
Yep. So, the beginning of the movie, we start off with the animal activist people freeing the chimpanzees that are
Yeah.
in captivity or in a lab actually, and that's how the whole thing starts because they have the
They're all
virus.
infected.
Yeah, they're all infected, and the scientist is trying to tell them not to free them. Of course, they don't listen. I mean, if they listened, it would be a very short movie.
And he does explain that they are infected
They
with a
are,
virus
yes.
called rage.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the name of the virus or if he just said rage, right? They had high rage. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
But yes, either way though. So they free him. He attacks one of the people, and she then attacks the others, and so on and so forth. And then it just jumps to 20 days later. One thing I do have to say though with these, I think they were called infected. They weren't called zombies,
No,
but
they call them the infected.
the infected,
Yeah.
yeah. So they weren't technically zombies. But the one thing that was weird is that they, as far as I can remember, throughout the entire movie, they don't bite a single person. They don't eat anybody like zombies do.
No,
They
it's
just,
more like vomit on them.
yeah, that's all. Like that seems to be what they do. They just scream, jump on top of you, and they'll viciously vomit blood in your face. But they don't actually like bite anybody, from what I can remember.
The way you're saying that is almost like in a comedy.
Because when you think about it, it is strange. They pin people down and just vomit on them, so vomit blood, and I mean that's terrifying. But they're not eating them. I mean, I don't remember ever seeing any
They
of them eat
don't.
anybody. I mean, it's fine. It is what it is, and they do indicate, I believe, once or twice throughout the story or the movie, that they do bite people. But I don't remember ever seeing them do it.
Oh, the only one was the kid that got bitten on the arm.
The
We'll
kid.
get to that part.
Yeah. But anyway, but that was one thing they and with these things they actually tend to sleep in the daytime, which kind of different from the walking zombies. They kind of give people a break. So if you wanted to, you could travel in the daytime to not really bump into these things. Whereas the other zombies, they are around all the time. It doesn't matter if it's daytime, nighttime, you're gonna bump into them. So, you guys pick which one you like the most. I personally love the running ones
Yeah.
because even after this movie, they made a Dawn of the Dead movie, which was fantastic too, and they had the running zombies. And a lot of movies started incorporating the running ones, which I thought was a good move in my opinion.
I don't mind the walking ones, but the running ones creates, in my opinion, more fear because
Yeah,
things are just way more fast paced.
there's like a level of anxiety.
Yes.
With the
Yep.
walking ones, you have all day to open a door. With
Yeah.
these, you don't. You have to hurry up. But anyway, going back to the flow of the story, that the chimpanzees come out, right? That's how the whole virus starts. 20 days later, the main character wakes up in a hospital, and that I remember in the theaters watching this, and that was probably a good 5 minute run, I would say, of him just walking through the streets and everything's just abandoned. That is such an eerie feeling where he's just everywhere he's turning. There's just trash and not a single soul. And this is a city. This is in London, a country there.
Especially because before he went to a coma, I mean, we're assuming everything was normal.
Well, it was. He says it. He says he was bringing a package. Remember, and he was on a
yeah.
bike and he got hit, and then he wakes up and now this is all going on. So everything's just abandoned and it's just so creepy. And they go for a good 5, maybe 7 minutes of him just going through and just showing you what it would be like, just empty streets like that. And
But it's just crazy. Like I was saying, he went into a coma. Everything was normal to wake up to everything literally gone.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then that's the point of the movie, is to show you how creepy it could be, like that, and how quick a virus like that would spread if it was real. But then from that point, he then goes to the church, right? He gets attacked by the priest, which
That is
that was pretty cool.
That is one of my favorite parts in that movie.
Yeah.
Is the church part.
Yeah, because right after he belts the priest off of him, he starts apologizing to him because a part of him still thinks everything's normal and it's not.
He just he whacks the priest with a bag full of
Cans, right? Yeah, it was cans.
He literally belted him.
Yep.
And you could see him like apologizing. It's a scary movie, but you kind of like laugh a little bit because it's like he doesn't know.
Yeah.
And he's feeling guilty for belting a priest across the face with a bag of cans.
Yep, and I liked how the infected move too. Like they have like this weird like twitching, like the
Yes,
arms like
yeah.
shoot forward and back. It's really cool. It's a very
Their body twitches all over.
yeah,
the
it's a
place.
very unique movement. That like they're making that growling sound that's very typical of zombies, and they have their arms like flail and like and it like jerks though. It doesn't just like flail. It
Yeah.
like the arm actually looks like muscle spasms, which makes it really really cool. Like it looks like the body can't control itself and it's just enraged. But then he goes from there. He then meets the other two characters, Selena, right?
Selena,
And
Hannah. No, I'm sorry.
Selena
I'm sorry.
and
Selena, and I can't remember the other kid's name.
I think it's Matt, I believe, and they kind of help him. They in the beginning they kind of show him, like they kind of tell him what has happened since he's been in the coma. They then go to the main character. What's the main character's name anyway?
Jim.
Jim, that's it. Why was I blank? I'm so bad with names. But they go to Jim's parents' house because he obviously hasn't seen them.
This is probably the saddest part in this.
Yeah, I mean, depends how you look at it, but they get there and the parents committed suicide. They ended up overdosing on pills. They were holding on to a young photo of him when he was a child, and on the back it says something like,
To our beloved Jim.
"Yeah, we now sleep with you. Please don't wake up."
Yeah, they said they left him sleeping,
Yeah,
and now they were sleeping with him. And it's like the reason why I find it really sad is that the fact that they killed themselves and their son woke up.
yeah.
So it just sucks.
But at least they weren't infected, which is kind of
yes,
nice.
Yeah.
But
It was horrible for him to find his parents on the bed like that.
yeah,
So.
yeah. I mean, I guess it would have been more terrifying seeing them as zombies, though.
Yes.
Or
I agree.
infected. But then from there we have two zombies attack. I believe his name was Matt. Ends up being it doesn't look like a bite mark on his arm, but he has some kind of gash on his arm or something.
Yeah.
And
Pretty sure he was bitten though.
it probably was a bite. It probably was, but it just looked a little different. It looked like a gash, like a knife cut or something. But needless to say, he gets taken out by Selena. Right? She doesn't.
Mind you, I thought she was hacking his arm off.
Yeah,
but-
no, she just straight up kills him. She doesn't waste any time.
Yeah, she specifies directly right after that scene that you basically have about 10 to 20 seconds at max
Yeah.
to take out whoever is bitten, because they change almost instantly.
Which that's nice because one of my biggest complaints about zombie movies is that the time frame is so like sporadic.
Yeah.
Like in some scenes, people change in seconds. In other scenes, it takes a character an hour, or like an entire night. And I understand it's a virus, so everyone reacts differently. I get it, but with that, there is no like rule that you can kind of base it off of. Whereas with this one, there is a rule. As soon as it gets in your system, you're screwed. It's pretty much right away within 30 seconds you're becoming one of these things.
Yeah.
So there is kind of a rule to it. But then they explore a little bit. They end up finding the two other characters that end up joining them,
Frank and Hannah.
Frank and Hannah, father, daughter.
They found them because they had blinking Christmas lights.
Yeah, on the like the
The complex.
yeah, they were up like halfway through. I thought Frank was a really cool character. I actually liked him a lot.
Yeah.
He was pretty cool. Big guy. I don't know if he was ex-police because he did have the shield and like the visor and stuff.
I don't know.
But I don't know if he found it. He could have just found it, I guess. But he helps them. They have a really cool scene where they're running up the stairs, and two of those things end up chasing them up the stairs, and Frank ends up saving them by putting that shield right after they pass him in front and kills the two things, throws them over the ledge and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, then they kind of get acquainted, right? Then they then leave. They find a message from the army blockade.
Yeah,
Right?
he had a radio.
Yeah,
and,
it was like one of those crank
was a
like battery
recording.
ones. Yeah.
It was a recording, and he was wanting to go,
Mm-hmm.
but he was afraid of going with just him and his young daughter,
Yeah, she was probably 15 in
who
this?
seemed to be
15, 16 years old?
Like, I want to say between 14 to 16 years old. He was afraid that if they were to go just by themselves and something happened to him, she'd be by herself.
Yeah.
So they eventually all agreed to go find this. It was a place that promised that there was a cure for the virus, salvation, food, all that stuff. They said further north, and they pointed out a map,
Yeah.
and they headed there, which turned out to be more of, I don't know if it looked like a mansion.
Well, after the blockade, because they
Yes,
ended up
yeah.
falling back. So what ends up happening is they eventually make their way to this blockade that they're supposed to go to. Obviously, there's a few events that happen through,
Yeah.
like they go underground under a tunnel, one
Yeah.
of those like underground tunnels there with the car, and they get stuck under there. And then of course some of those things start running up to try to get them, but they get out in time. They then go to a few other stops where little things happen, little scenes happen and stuff. But then when they get to that blockade, Frank's very upset that there isn't any soldiers there. There's nobody there. It looks like the place is abandoned. And he then sees that crow up on the top
Yeah, it was
biting
like
on a
eating.
body. Yeah, it was like eating a body. So I don't know if it affects the animals too. I guess it does, because I remember them even mentioning something when they see the wild horses running around. The daughter asks if they're infected, and he says no. They seem healthy. So I guess it does affect the animals too, which that would have
Yeah,
been cool
mine.
to see.
Yeah.
Like kind of like Resident Evil. See like the dogs and the crows. It maybe would have turned the movie a different direction.
Yeah, the crow was feeding on
A soldier, right? A soldier
soldier,
body up high
yeah.
on top of like a
it was like a ledge.
ledge.
And of course Frank looks up because the crow kind of was squawking or whatever, and he looked up, and he ended up, I don't know if he did he throw something?
He kicked the gate.
Oh, he did. He kicked it.
Yeah, and that
Which
made the crow
caused-
fly.
Yep, and created blood to drip down into Frank's eye.
Yep. Which
Which if you know anything about the movie, it doesn't just cause it's not just a bite, it spreads through blood and saliva.
anything that gets in your system.
Yes.
So obviously a drop of blood in the eye,
Yep.
it gets in the system.
So blood, saliva, any of that, which obviously you guys with the vomiting.
Yep.
So yeah, it dripped into his eye, and obviously it only took him like literally 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And that was sad because Hannah didn't fully understand what was going on. And yet he turned. So
Yeah. And I remember when that happened too, I was like, I was so disappointed because I liked Frank and I
Yeah.
thought he was going to be one of those characters that was going to make it further, at least to the end, but he didn't. And
I was thankful
Yeah.
that at least Hannah was with Selena
Jim.
and Jim.
That's why if I was in this world, I would wear like sunglasses, hat, bandana over the mouth.
Yeah.
Just so that way you can just help protect. Because I mean, at this point, anything could get you infected.
Yeah.
But anyway, the army then shows up. They go back to the mansion that you were talking about, which they ended up falling back to, because I believe it was safer. I believe because they rigged the whole place up to defend it and stuff. Seems like a nice place, but the thing is, they were really excited for the newcomers because there was 2 females in the group, and at the mansion there was only 9 males, which you kind of can't reproduce if there's only 9 guys. So they pretty much, it plays out, and they won't let Selena and Hannah leave. They don't care about Jim, but they want the girls to stay, kind of against their will, if you will.
Yeah.
And then that leads into the final scene, which I loved. It was my favorite sequence in the entire thing, was Jim trying to free them, and he it just turned the movie into like such an action movie.
Yeah.
Like he's sitting there like creeping around, he's trying to like,
He literally almost like plotted it part by part by part
Yeah.
with each of them.
yep, and he did a great job too, like kind of just letting like other people take, like they had an ex-soldier who had turned. He frees that infected, and he goes in and starts raising hell and starts turning other people on. So he kind of just sits back and lets them kind of do that.
Yeah.
He does kill like 2 guys himself, but for the most part he's kind of just like going through the mansion trying to find the 2 girls and letting the rest of the group deal with the infected. And the way he kills that other dude with like the putting his fingers into his eyes, that was intense. But it was a very, very good movie. I love zombie films, and this one, like I said, to me raised the bar when I had seen it years ago with the running zombies, that now I would not settle for anything less than that. I mean, not that I wouldn't, like I said, the walking zombies are fine, but they have to at least be good, and it has to
Yeah.
be placed well, not anything like just generic,
Yeah.
So this movie really set the bar for me. I loved it, and I loved it again watching it now. It's a great movie.
The end was cool. It did it again 28 days later
Yeah.
from when all of what he was saying happened.
Yeah.
And it was cool. It seemed like a little house, and all the infected seemed to be dying.
Pretty much starving to death, I think
Yeah,
you said,
per
right?
starving.
Yeah.
And it's cool. She's Selena.
I believe it's Selena.
Seems she's stitched so many pieces of fabric to spell out hello, because there was a plane flying above. I guess it went over a couple of times and didn't notice them, so she did that, and they did get noticed. So it was a really good ending, a simple ending, but very, very good.
Yeah, and the
So-
thing is too, I like how spoiler alert too. Everything seems great. They're about to. This is going back to the mansion. They're about to leave. They open the car door, and then there's the main bad guy.
I know.
I say bad guy. He's not a bad guy, but he was like the kind of like villain in it. Yeah.
He
And
ran the whole brigade.
Yeah, but I mean, he was trying to be like the greater good. It's one of those typical bad guys. It's for the greater good, even if it's bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's there, and he shoots Jim right in the stomach, and it just kind of like, it kind of opens your eyes like, oh man. I mean, he might not die because he is the main character, but by 2002, 2003, you have seen movies where main characters have died. It's not like unheard of. You know what I mean? So you're kind of like wondering, is it going to happen? And thankfully, he makes it. But like I said, I loved this movie. I really enjoyed this movie, and I was glad to watch it again. So I liked it.
I was happy.
This was a very good pick for day 9. So that's all I got.
Yeah, we just wanna really thank you guys for watching our videos and following us, especially during the Halloween movie challenge. We appreciate all the support. If you guys want to leave a comment underneath, let us know what you think of this movie. That'd be great. Even if you guys want to give us some ideas of any movies you want us to watch and review, that'd be awesome too.
Yep. And let me tell you something. Watching one movie every night might not seem like a hard challenge, but when you have when you have a full-time job, each of us have, and they're different shifts, and you have 2 young children, it is hard.
It is proving to be challenging.
Yes, this is only day 9, and it's getting tougher, but
it's challenging.
It's fun though.
It is. It's fun. This is our time at night when the kids go to bed, so it's nice.
Yeah. But
it's nice.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching our video. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, and so you don't miss any of our videos, please hit the notification bell.
Yep. See you guys tomorrow.
Have a good night.